Imagine that. My daughter is 13 years old. Are you coming to decide between your daughter and your mother? I never thought when I leave the house carrying my camera, and you never think that you will go back home alive. Get arrested is sometimes become, good thing, because at least you know what's going to happen tomorrow. In jail, you are safe. You are Gazans. You paying the price of being Palestinian, because telling you this war against everything in Gaza, against the plant, birds, animals, children, old women, against the sands of Gaza, against everything in Gaza. International law, human rights law give you that, the right to fight the occupation. And that Gaza always fought the occupation. There is no solution without freedom of Gaza, freedom of Palestine. You don't destroy ideology, you don't destroy political thought by weapons.
And so
Gaza, we are Russia now.
Yeah.
God, great.
So then,
great, we are Russia.
Hi, welcome to ChatGPB, a Lithuanian YouTube channel, hence the subtitles, which we'll start publishing in English as well. There's already another video in the making, but in the future I cannot promise any consistency. So subscribe and hit the bell button if you don't want to miss our amazing stuff. After the 7th of October attack in Israel, in Lithuania the media and the politicians went crazy in their unquestionable support for Israel. There's barely mentioning of Palestinians or the occupation, and there's barely any discussion of what led to that horror attack. We, a very small media outlet exclusively supported by you, our readers, listeners and viewers, decided to challenge that narrative. So we began publishing a more complicated story. In this light I spoke with Qassem Ali, a Gazan, an American and Maltese citizen, a former journalist, TV producer, and a leftist. I hope you'll find our conversation interesting, and hopefully you can get through to the end. It's not going to be easy. So first of all, thank you for doing this, for talking to me. And can you first introduce yourself?
My name is Qassem Ali. I'm from a village called Beit Hanun. It is in northern and eastern side of Gaza Strip. So it's exactly in the border with so-called Israel. I'm former journalist, TV news producer, so I'd had covered Gaza and Middle East for the last 20 years maybe. The last war I covered it is 2008 in Gaza. And so I have been all over. I'm also American citizen. I am a Maltese citizen, and have residency in Canada. My family is dispersed. One of my son and the grandson in Texas in the States, and my daughter and my son and my wife in Montreal in Canada. And also brothers and sisters in Europe, some of them in Gaza. But I grew up in Beit Hanun. My life started with the war and the occupation in '67. I was 9 years old. That's my first encounter of wars and life of wars. And this is who I am. I have been studying also. I have studied in New York University and Oxford, and now I'm 65 years old.
So how long have you been in Gaza now? Let's say, when was the last time you came back to Gaza?
I came last January. The reason just to stay with my old mother, and she's about 90 years old, so I want to spend some time with her. And for second reason, to rebuild my house in Beit Hanun, which is destroyed in the war 1914. And to live there, and then, I started adapting with with the life there, and I'm thinking of, reviving my news agency, and especially try to make Ramadan in academy for news gathering, and which is, I worked on that, and so almost I was ready and to make it as academy, and so fixed everything, and in 1 second it's gone. It's gone. This is the third time my house has been destroyed from Israelis.
2008 and
2006, 2014, and now. I remember I get married my first marriage is, I was under town arrest. So I could not leave the village. I could not go to university. During the day, I have to go to the police station, and twice a day, 10 o'clock and 5 o'clock. And during the night, you have to stay. I spent 1.5 years like that. The reason, because I am student activist. I've been elected in the student council, which is my work, my activity was, doing voluntary work. We're going to pick up olives with the farmer, or cleaning the streets of the camps as a student, But this will show how Israelis, my story, show how Israelis behaving with Gaza. In that time, because it is the university, it is in West Bank, next to Ramallah village called Berzeit. And I am the only one from Gaza in the student council. There were 9, and I am one of them. I am the only one they put town arrest. And I have been interrogated for 3.5 months because I'm from Gaza. Because my colleagues is doing the same position, even more important position than mine. But we'll see how even the military rules in Gaza is different. And it represents the story of Gazans, and how serious oppression in daily life, or in how they can manage their life, how much freedom they have, how much even identity. If you manage to travel in that days, and Israelis give you the permission to travel. I remember the first time I went to the States, they give you something called Lisai Basay. It is Israelis travel document with Israelis, star, and for 1 year. And written in it, the nationality undefined. So for them, we are not Palestinians, we are not Arab, we are undefined. And this is just before the Intifada, before what they called it as now, the establishment of Hamas. It wasn't exist. Hamas was not exist in Gaza. It exists 88. And that's the reality of the people in Gaza, how they are living during the whole occupation time, which is direct occupation or indirect occupation, which is happening now since what they called it, also called it, Oslo Agreement, and peace between Palestinians and Israelis. I have been in Israeli jail about 6 times. The last one was administrative detention in the beginning of the Intifada for 8 months. Then I started working as a journalist, and every day, in that time when I'm covering the first Intifada, I was almost the only cameraman and producer, Palestinian ones, who was covering the Intifada. I never thought when I leave the house and carrying my camera and driving it through the refugee camps and the villages in Gaza Strip, and you never think that you will go back home alive. So always, or get beaten up by soldiers in checkpoint, and your car get confiscated. This is just daily thing, because they don't recognize you as a journalist. You are Palestinians, and you are, especially Gaza, you are terrorists. And that's the behavior of Israel's army battering the streets of Gaza at that time. So the life in the occupation, I just tell you something simple. Night everywhere in the world. It's just for fun, going for dinner and watching movie and seeing the friends. Night for us is in that time just scary. You're not allowed to leave your house at night. 8 o'clock in the morning, evening is curfew. So you're not allowed, thinking, when the soldiers come to arrest you. So the night is, which is supposed to love, and, is something you don't like. You hate it because everything negative will comes in.
You're supposed to rest at that time,
yes,
and you don't get the rest because
you don't get the rest at all. Simple as that. You're just afraid to, even making love to your wife, and because suddenly soldiers can come, and so you are living in I don't know how to put it, but you living uncertainty in every level. That's the occupation. Occupation is not, get arrested. Get arrested is sometimes become, good thing, because at least you know what's going to happen tomorrow, and at least you are in jail you are safe. So, and tomorrow you will have your breakfast, or you will smoke their shitty cigarette. But when you're living outside, no, you don't plan anything. Planning is not under the occupation. Is not part of your agenda, which is still up till now. It's even, controlling your life, because you don't plan things. It's always like when we have discussion with normal things with my wife, she plan things. Why are you planning? Why you don't plan things? You could not up till now plan things because it's stuck in your mind and back in your mind. How can you plan things? Anything can happen to you. So you have to deal with the issues day by day. So I decided to leave in 91 to study in the United States and to work with the agency, which was called at that time WTN, TV News Agency. I don't want to go home. I don't want to go to the apartment. I want to stay all day and night outside, because you can. Because I can see the night. I can see, for example, seashore, see the sea during the night. It's forbidden. 6 o'clock, you're not allowed to be in the beach. All my time I'm living in Gaza, I never saw the beach during the night. Sit in the beach and sunset and smoke cigarette and have a coffee, a glass of beer. Somebody controlling completely your life. And he doesn't recognize you as a human being. So imagine how he behaved and how you're supposed to live the life of occupation. And this is how Gazans have lived from 67 up till, I think, maybe. It changed a little bit after with the draw in 2005. change a little bit in daily life in Gaza, so you can go to sea at night. But to leave Gaza, you see now, they are complete control. It's 2 gates, one south and one north. You are Gazans. You know, you paying the price of being Palestinian.
Is it related now to this tendency to equate Gazans with Hamas? Or is it?
Oh, yeah.
Or was it like that before Hamas? Or
you know, this is, sorry to see this, but I think the word, you know, it's better to describe it with this, is bullshit about. Hamas is just a new organization in the history of Gaza, which Gaza have been heavy price. For example, all of the time which I been suffering under the occupation, I have nothing to do with it. I am leftist person, I'm secular and have nothing to do with any religion, so it's not, So, you want me to count how much I paid from Israelis since I am young man and 22 years old to up till now. So what told me Hamas is the enemy? No, not at all. I remember in 80s even the Islamists, the occupation loved them, and they give them the whole freedom to preach, and they were fine. We were the enemy, the nationalists and the leftists, and so they're switching according to their interest. Before BLO was the enemy, and now. And they are terrorists. Now is Hamas is terrorist, and BLO is, under control of Abu Mazen. They are nice guys, But the war, it is in the spirit of Gaza, on Gaza itself, because Gaza fight the occupation as normal, and since the occupation started in '67. As all international law, human rights law, give you that, the right to fight the occupation. And that Gaza always fought the occupation since '67, militarily, politically. So Gaza isn't that people. Gaza is the people there, they don't surrender. That okay, it's tough life, and I have to give up. No. You peaceful, maximum you throw stones and against, military armored car, stones, and, to tell the world that what we need our freedom. We don't want to live this life. The revolution in Gaza and the resistance of Gaza for their freedom, that's what they miss throughout their own history. They want to be free. They want dignity.
You said about yourself that you're leftist. So in that context, would you be even considered by Hamas as certain kind of enemy, or not so much?
Oh yeah, no, I don't like to talk about, but that's I'm seeing concerning, which is all over the world concerning political differences and conflicts. Of course. But Hamas it have the right to resist the occupation, and but concerning interior issue, of course I am consider enemy. They and I have paid heavy price from Hamas government as government, and I lost my all of my business. The reason it's my business, which was the biggest in Middle East, from Hamas. But this is something different.
That's internal fight, and we're talking about.
And disagree with them. They don't like me. I don't like them politically and ideologically, which is, but because you want to kill one of Hamas, you kill hundreds of people, you destroy neighborhood, and it is your enemy. Fight them. Man to man. If your enemy, fight them. And to saying this, the war is against Hamas. So The price I paid and the people paid, who's responsible for that? And the problem is like Netanyahu telling to Macron that Hamas is responsible. Hamas is shielding us from, destroying my house, killing my cousins, and that's bullshit. Yeah. What they're doing. But this war is different. It's not a war. It's more than a war. It's more than a war. Completely. It's war. Always, I left the war. Our invasion from Allah, I was there. Yeah, I left. I have no Gulf War. I cover it. But always there is a place to find it and to manage your work or to manage your life. But this time, there is no place. You have to reconcile with death. It couldn't happen anytime. The other war, no, there is always certain places is secure. This is why I'm telling you this war against everything in Gaza, against the plant, birds, animals, children, old women, against the sands of Gaza, against everything in Gaza is just hatred, unlimited hatred from Israeli side against Gaza, as they used to dream to throw it in the sea. And they're thinking, now that's time not to throw it in the sea, killed everybody there, and dragged them out of the country. It's out of Gaza. That's really the hatred of this war, and they don't care. They have the international support, and they were supported by Americans, by all the Eastern country, even Romania. They came to give support to Israel. What? Against whom? Against Gaza? Against Gaza or so-called Hamas? How many fighters Hamas have? Which was to bring ships and submarine against Gaza. It's shaming the whole Western culture and colonization, to do that. You realize that? Is Gaza become Russia or China? I don't understand. It suddenly become like that?
Hi, if you're still here, please consider supporting us. We have a website where we publish texts on social and political issues. We have a bi-weekly video podcast. We did several documentaries, several audio documentaries, and many other things. And we do this almost voluntarily. We get around 500 euros per month from our patrons. So most of our content was in Lithuanian, and if you pitch in, I can promise you more and more content like this in English. Yeah, and in Lithuania, the very popular narrative is that Israel was attacked just as Ukraine was attacked by Russia. So therefore, Gaza is Russia and Ukraine is Israel. I mean, this is the line that we get. And then
How?
And well, because of October the 7th, so they start the story from October the 7th, and therefore Israel was attacked. They know nothing. They don't talk about anything before. I mean, some people do, but they're very few. And so
Gaza, we are Russia now.
Yeah.
Great. We are Russia.
I can tell you one example. I did a video, this response video. One of the teachers at International Studies Institute at Vilnius University, he raised the question, even when Russia attacked Ukraine, there were protests in the streets of St. Petersburg and Moscow against Putin. So his question was, where are the protests in Gaza against Hamas? So my answer was, if the story is that it's even difficult to comprehend. I can see it in your face because it's so lunacy. But so the question is, is Ukraine occupying Russia for decades? Is Ukraine putting a blockade on Russia? The people who protested in St. Petersburg and in Moscow, they were not suffering from occupation. You know, they lived in the country that was the powerful side, right? That attacked another country. So it's mind-boggling how you can invert.
It's completely mind-boggling. You want us to sympathize with the enemy who killing us and occupying us for stealing our land, and we give them sympathy. They want us slaves, slave for Israel, and they are be happy slave to be slave. We're not being slaves. We're not like the occupation. We are against the occupation, and it's completely to put this weird comparison between Russia and Gaza, or Ukraine and Israel. That's the most.
I mean, if you want to compare in any way, Russia is Israel.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
not,
that's a normal human logic. Will compare like that, But even that, you see the difference in the what's the Ukrainian refugees. They will come in all of Europe, and Gaza, they not food. They cut off the food. They are not allowed the civilian to escape anywhere. There is no country will come them. They will not be able to escape through the sea or through the land, and put them in one place and kill them, and nobody opened the border. Where is war in the history? You don't allow civilians to escape for shelter, except in this war in Gaza.
That's the thing. That's why it's very difficult to call it a war. I mean, it's not even a war.
It's not a war. War have rules.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole history have rules. This war have no rules.
So tell me, where were you, and how did you find out what's happening on the 7th of October? And then what were your first reactions? And
I was staying in my roof in Beit Hanun. And I'm telling you, it is in the center of the village and the highest place in the village, and 6:30, 6 o'clock, I don't remember exactly. I wake up with a sound of bombing and more missiles in that time, launching by Hamas in that moment. So the first reaction for me as foreign journalist, I took the camera and mobile, and I started filming for about 5-10 minutes. Then when as somebody have experience in the work in the north, it will be big things is happening. And a situation like that, because it is in the border, the first thing is going to be hit severely, and so I decided the first thing to go to have a shower, because I know now Israel will take time to start to react. So I will have a chance to have a shower without missiles hitting me when I'm naked. It's crazy, but I'm telling you, it's exactly what happened to me. And then I had a shower for 5 minutes, and then pick up my old mother and go to Gaza. So I think it's safe. So I took just my small bag with me, which I have in my house as a cash in that time. I took it, and then I went to my brother's house, which is very high buildings, and so it's a little bit. I slept one night in it. There is no comfortable surrounding, so I decided to go to my sister's house in Tel El, the third floor, and there's people there. There's a lot of people there, and there's a lot of shops, and so you can manage to find your food and all of that, because we lived the war before there with my sisters. And then my sister and other sister, and with her daughters and the friends came. So we were about 20 people in the apartment. For, I don't remember, for some times,
A few days or?
more than a few days. And then some former employees of mine, they're working in television production and satellite uplink. He called me, come and give us a hand in working. We need your advice and to Shifa Hospital. So he came and picked me up from Tel El Hawa to Shifa Hospital. Then I saw the destruction in Rimal quarter. Wow, wow. Rimal is the wealthy neighborhood in Gaza, the good building, and it's always never been, concerning Israelis' mentality. You don't hit it because you hit Jabalia, you hit, Shujaiya, you hit, the neighborhood which you can fight, have fighters there or activity. So I get really shocked what I have seen from Tel El Hawa to go to Ash-Shifa. Then when I arrived at Shifa, wow, see, the people, and the casualty, and the death, and, But, so I slept there one night. You slept, you stayed, there is no even a place to stay, I stayed with my colleagues as journalists, and because I didn't have internet, the house I'm staying, so there in the Shifa I managed to have internet, so I talked to my wife and my kids in the States, in Canada. Imagine that, my daughter is 13 years old. Are you coming? In that time, I wasn't thinking of leaving Gaza, to be frank. And then, so, like your son asking you, I'm not going to see you again, so you will stay. So it was the most difficult conversation. What to tell your daughter? You're not willing to come to leave to see her, and you're going to die after all this. Your son is 13 years older than you, Mama, my sister. What's going to happen to her if you don't come? And then so what to do? To decide between your daughter and your mother and your nieces. But I took the hard decision, which is the painful decision, to leave. Okay. I tried to convince my sister and my mother to leave with me. They refused. And they started pushing me. You leave. Your family need you. Your daughter need you. Go. So I decided to go. So I went from Gaza to the south, to Khan Yunis. Managed to find taxi, and then it's hitting everywhere. So I managed to get to Khan Yunis because a friend of mine he's from Canada and staying there. So in the sidewalk of the wall, and they started, cleaning it and putting blanket to cover us, and we started slowly building a new life. I don't know, as refugees, and to try to manage food, to try to manage, how to sleep and how to drink, and slowly we managed to build tent from the blanket, and so we were, happy to have that, and and this is where you see the effect of the war. School have because we were from the beginning, in the beginning there. So it was this, the people stayed in the workshop, in the houses, and in the classroom. Women stayed there, and men, sleep outside. But then the number increasing and increasing, and it was designated for international, who working with the international organization and with UN families. But then, which is maybe 2,000, 3,000. So, but then the people started coming to school, hosting a couple of hundred students, and now hosting 30,000 people. It's a city. It's a city. Imagine. Imagine the water. Imagine food. Imagine bathroom. Bathroom is the real story. The real story. So I had the first shower I told you about. The second shower was in Egypt. And you don't eat. No, in that time still you can't buy food. Of course, canned food, and you don't eat because there's no bathroom. You need 2-3 hours on the lines to get to the bathroom. So you don't eat because you don't want to go to the bathroom. And you see the real disasters with old people, children, and screaming, and how they see it, looking at the future. There is no future. There is nothing for them. What's going to happen to them? What's going to happen, concerning communication, how to catch internet. If you catch internet, for 5 minutes, in that time, you're lucky. Or to charge your phone. There is no electricity. So how to charge your phone? This is the story. And if you manage to charge your phone, you are having wonderful time. And UN, after a couple of days, they started distributing blanket. One blanket for. You put it under it or you cover with it. One blanket, all under. One blanket. This is what they called it, UN. One blanket. South of Gaza is not developed yet. It's not. Gaza city can hold people. But Khan Yunis could not, a smaller city, and there's no infrastructure. So Rafah, a small town compared to Gaza. If people to become refugees, they can manage in Gaza. Can manage food and shelters, but in Khan Yunis and Rafah, there is no places. There is no enough food. There is no enough bakeries. It's just. And this is what they are doing now. They're taking, of course, the whole plan to throw them out of Gaza. South is closer to Rafah border, and they want to throw them in Sinai. And the people don't want to go to Sinai. They don't want to repeat the Nakba. They want, again, but they want secure place for them, for their children, and for their families. And then.
Was Khan Yunis bombed when you were there?
Oh, yeah. Hey. There's no place. From just, I'll tell you, if you want to hear, me as a human being. I have part of my family, escaped to Rafah, and they get killed. Rafah, escaped from Beit Hanun to Rafah, they get killed. Some of them in Khan Yunis. In Gaza, before they cousins left from, as I did, from Beit Hanun to Gaza. My cousin with 2 sons, and the wife of his 2 sons, and his brother, and the children, and I was in their wedding just a month before the wedding. 2 of them, all of them, wiped out in Gaza after they left Beit Hanun. So there is no place safe from my extended family, from my mother's side or my father's side. More than 300 people. The first day of the war in Beit Hanun, my cousin with the whole 6 children, with their wife, with the siblings, up till now they are under their own house in Beit Hanun. Up till now they didn't manage to take them, to bury them, because ambulance not allowed in Beit Hanun, nothing is allowed. Everyone they try to get to my village get killed by Israeli plane. So still the people in Beit Hanun not buried. Dogs eating their bodies.
The basic idea is that, since no Israeli soldier can be hurt, therefore they begin with heavy bombardment, and then they move in with heavy machinery. So, man-to-man war is not happening.
At all?
Yeah.
At all.
And therefore it takes 100 civilians for one Hamas member, I suppose. Yeah.
That's the problem. The coward army. It's coward army. All of this, I'm telling you, they didn't, how much? A little from Hamas fighter they can. The rest, most of it, not civilians. Because they don't fight. If you are under the ground fighting, you know how to escape, how to fight, but they are not targeting them. They could not targeting them. If you need to target them, you need to go with guns and, kill them. But they killing people, families wiped, families wiped. It's never happened in this. Never happened before in any war. One, two maximum from the family get it. Now you hear news, family, all your cousins and friends and myself, thousands I know get hurt and killed. In a small population like that, when you have more than 10,000 people get killed and more than 30,000 get wounded, which is the worst. Myself, to get killed is easier than to get wounded. To get wounded is a problematic in situation like who is going to take care of you and how and where. But if you die, you die. There is a place in the air, so you put yourself. But the suffering, the wounded people are suffering more than the one who get killed, unfortunately, But that's the reality.
And might eventually die as well after the suffering.
Oh, yeah.
How about your mother and your sister? What do you hear?
My mother. Just now, I heard they went yesterday to the garage of the building with other family to stay in the garage of
Still in Gaza?
Still in Gaza. They're still in Gaza. And just before, just after you call me and watch the news, they had Capital Mall building. It's just 100 meters from where they are staying. So, every moment, I can hear, the news, which is, I'm safe place, I'm secure in one way. But physically, but psychologically, I am there. When I put my head in the pillow to sleep, I'm back in Gaza, not in Malta. And even when I see things, beautiful. See and but I didn't see it. Physically in front of my eyes, psychologically, my mind is still in Gaza. This is why I told you, it's more than war. War, if you escape, you are fine. As I know, I lived the wars. It's not theoretically, but I lived all the wars. So, alas, you adapt with a new life. This war, no. This war is what? It's in your head. Up till now, it's in my head. It's in my head. In details, in the whole certain details, it's in my head. I don't know how long it will take me to be able to become normal. I don't know.